is going to be in really deep trouble. And I looked back at the podium. The business pile was back. As the last people, it was like the last helicopter leaving Saigon, and it's like people clawing at the poor flight attendant lady, ripping at her shirt. I thought, this boy doesn't have a chance. Aha! I have the SMD card. I said, come with me. And we ran down the terminal. There is a United Airlines club in that terminal. So we ran up the stairs, and I went to the counter. I pulled out the SMD card, and I said, this man needs to get to North Carolina. Just whatever you have to do, get him there. So the lady went tappity, tappity, tappity. She said, maybe we could route him through Phoenix. No, that's booked up. Maybe we can go through Toronto. No, that's booked up. Maybe we can go through Denver. No, that's booked up. Maybe we can go through Tahiti. No, that's booked up. Maybe we can go through Australia. That's booked up. And it was looking very bleak, and the young man was looking more and more forlorn. And another lady behind the counter very wisely said, you could perhaps try a last-minute ticket on Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is a discount airline. They basically took an old city bus and bolted wings to it. That's Southwest Airlines. It's not the nicest airline, but it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Crap, that's what it is. But it flies, which is sometimes more than United does. So I said, okay, you keep trying. I am going to see if I can find a flight on Southwest Airlines. Can you do that from your terminal? And she said, no, they don't play with us. I said, why not? She said, well, Southwest. In my country, that's all the explanation you need. You know, if you're driving down the street and you see like a car that has crashed into a pole and the electric pole has fallen down and the wires have electrocuted 16 kittens, all you have to do is look at people and say, Southwest, and they'll understand. So I went inside, I got on my laptop computer, I went tappity, 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 tappity. And oh, there it is. There is a flight, Southwest Airlines. It connects in Denver, Colorado, and it will get to Raleigh, which is very close to Fort Bragg. It's my hometown, that's where I'm going. It's going to get there at 10 o'clock tonight. The cost is $571. Ooh, that's a little steep. So I ran outside. They are still trying. Maybe we can route him through the third moon of Jupiter and get him there. No, that's not working. So I put the computer down. I said, do you have $571 that you can use, a credit card or something? And I saw him cringe. He said, I don't... He said, maybe I can call a friend. I'm going to step outside. I got on his phone. He went outside, and I saw him talking on the phone. And I was pacing back and forth. And I said to the ladies, isn't there anything you can do? And she said, we have tried every city and every planet and every solar system. Nothing is flying to North Carolina today. I said, except Delta. Oh, wait! Could you give him my seat on the Delta flight? Because if I'm late for work, the boss will just be mad. If he's late for work, they'll put him in prison. She said, well, in order to do that, we would have to cancel your flight and then very quickly rebook it before somebody else gets it. I said, nah, let's not do that. And I looked back outside, and I saw his shoulders slump and the hand holding the phone sort of went down like this. And I went outside and I said, so what? And he very sadly said, I couldn't get in touch with anybody. He said, there's no way I can get that kind of money. And I walked back inside with him. I'm still going to be $29 up on the deal. So I bought him the ticket on Southwest Airlines. And he was very stunned. He said, and I said, don't, just shut up. Let's go inside and have some coffee. So I took him inside, and we had some coffee. And I went down to get my ticket on Delta Airlines. When I got to the Delta Airlines counter, the lady said, oh, here's your ticket to North Carolina. I said, thank you so much. My ticket for the noon flight in North Carolina. Wait, why does it say 10 o'clock in the evening? Why does it say the arrival time is tomorrow? And she said, well, Raleigh Airport is closed. There's a heavy weather system coming in, a huge winter storm. And I said, well, that sucks. Oh, crap. My friend in the club, I went running back, and he was on his phone. He said, I'm on the phone to Southwest. They just canceled my flight. I said, I know, give me that. And I grabbed the phone and I said, I don't care what you got to do. You need to get this boy to North Carolina. What else do you have? And the lady said, the Raleigh airport is shut down, sir. There are no flights going in. I said, okay, how about Charlotte, North Carolina? She said, no. Greensboro, North Carolina. No. I said, how fucking big is this storm? Okay, South Carolina, anything going in there? Virginia, Washington, D.C. Ah, yes, we can get into Washington, D.C. I said, good, give me that flight, we'll rent him a car, it's a 5-hour drive to North Carolina, we'll get him there by morning. Give me the ticket. And she said, there's a price difference. I said, no, there is not. You canceled the flight. You must now rebook him at the original price. And she said, no, sir. I said, how do you figure? And she said, Southwest. So I said, all right, what's the price of the new ticket? She said, $592. I'm still $8 up on the deal. Buying the ticket, get in the ticket right now. So she said, okay, but he's going to have to hurry. That flight is boarding in 10 minutes. I said, grab your stuff, son, we're getting you out of here. Yo, you're going on Southwest, pick up the ticket at the counter, let's just go. And I ushered him outside, and he was still looking very stunned and very startled by all this. And he turned around and he said, what am I going to do when I get to North Carolina? I said, I've already taken care of it. Do you have $160 on your credit card? He said, yeah, I think so. Think so's not good enough. You need $160. I have rented a car for you. When you get there, my company has a corporate account. It will cost $160 to get a car at Washington and drive it to Fort Bragg. He said, what do I have to do? I said, just go to the Enterprise rental counter, tell them your name is Sam Conway, you're the chairman of Anthrocon, and you're a furry. Don't ask questions, just say it. And he said, okay, but I don't know how to repay you. I said, that one's easy. Serve your country well and come back in one piece, and we'll call it equal. Speaking of equal, it just occurred to me that my fine companion, Fox Moore, who was so nice to accompany me, doesn't have anything in front of him. Oh, I suppose maybe this country's never heard of Guinness before, but this'll have to do. This is Müller Torgau. Where did I get this? How many people, let me hear you, were at this beautiful convention when it was at the Ringberg Hotel in Zul? I can see it. There's noise, yeah. Do you remember the hairless master of alcohol, Andre?
Yeah.
He showed up this morning, and he brought me these 2 bottles as a, remember Zul. And I said, actually I don't remember anything. It's because of these 2 bottles, but thank you very much. Stuff's hitting me awful fast. I probably should have had dinner.
Pizza delivery for Mr. Conway.
What excellent timing. Please come in. Oh, thank you so much. What do I have here? Oh, jungle candy pizza. It's got bugs and lizards and spiders and all sorts of horrible things on it. Thank you very much. Fox, do you want some of All right, I'll have it myself. Let's see. Look, a candy tarantula. Isn't that adorable? Where's those fruit flies? Eek! Oh my god, look, it's coming after me! You little drunk fuckers. Oh, I got one more. You want one more here? Here, how about the centipede? There you go. All right, thank you. No. Oh, yes, put here. Take a lizard. Here. Have a, I don't know what it is. It's a baby penis. Here, eat that. Wow. This is not horrible, is it? Oh. Oh, what's that? Now, I did the story hour last year. Yeah. And I don't remember what stories I told. Oh, you remember what stories I told. Did I tell any stories about Anthropon? Did I mention what happened, for example, when I was across the street trying to enjoy a glass of wine? Yeah. Oh, and I heard sirens coming? Yeah. I told you that? Yeah. Yes. Did I tell you what happened with our guest of honor when he arrived? Yeah. I told you that? Boy, I'm gonna make up new stories. Well, I guess, since I heard those stories, I'm going to reach back in the far past. I'm going to tell them a story that happened almost 20 years ago. At the time, I was with the American Red Cross, the emergency services. I worked in the city of Philadelphia, and I went with we called it the city team. Basically, Philadelphia is a large enough and violent enough city that you don't have to respond to disasters, you just wait and they happen and then you respond to them. So the team would go and we would sit around on Friday nights and something would happen. A fire, a building collapse, a riot, a famine, a meteor strike, something would happen. Well, we were out driving around. Sometimes we would just get in one of the emergency vehicles and drive around to see if we could find an emergency. Sometimes you did. In those days, we had no GPSs. All you had was a giant book of maps that was all faded because it was 10 years old. The fire scanner, the radio, came on and reported a structure fire that was in progress, that was in the neighborhood that we were in, but we could not hear the address. They muttered the address, structure fire. I thought, okay, that's no good. Well, I was in the passenger seat of the van. And the driver, who was a very, very experienced emergency responder, listened to this. He said, "Did you get the address?" I said, "No, I didn't hear it." He said, "Okay, take the wheel." And he climbed out the window. I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." And I grabbed the wheel. I'm not making this up. I grabbed the wheel, and he was leaning out the window of the truck, doing this. Turn left here. And I pushed the wheel to the left. And he, right here, turn right. Turn right, wait. Keep going straight. Left, turn left. We turned left. We came across the scene of a blazing structure before the fire department arrived. Who needs 911? Who needs cell phones? We just need this guy in his nose. So, in this part of Philadelphia, all of the homes are connected. We call them row homes. So it's like house, 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 house. And they all have a common structure to them. And we learned from the neighbors that the house that was burning was abandoned, as half the houses in Philadelphia are. The house next to it was also vacant. There was another house further down that was occupied. They said there's an old lady in a wheelchair who lives in that house, but it was fairly far removed from the fire. And we looked at this and we said, oh shit. Well, not oh shit in that there's a fire, but oh shit in that we don't have anything to do. Because we're emergency responders, we want to help people, we want to do something. So the fire department arrived, and the only thing we could do was kind of sit back with the neighbors and critique the fire. So like, that was pretty nice. It's not like the one on Forbes Avenue. I remember how that, I mean, look how the flames are kind of like lopsided here. Remember the one on Forbes Avenue? They're perfectly symmetrical. I liked that one, yeah. Well, as we were critiquing it and just having fun, the house exploded. All of a sudden, our critique changed. In the fire department language, in English, it's called a backdraft. If you've never seen one, you don't want to see one. They're terrifying things. Flames just leapt out of every window. The firemen were jumping off of the ladders to get away from them. And at this point, we noticed that there was smoke coming out of all the windows of the intervening buildings, and the house that was occupied was now in danger. So I yelled to a passing fireman, that house there, it's occupied, old lady, wheelchair. So he ran to the door, he pounded the door, he ran inside. And about 2 minutes, maybe 3 passed, and nothing happened, and I started to see smoke coming out through the door. So I got worried, and I ran up to the door, and I said, do you need help in there? And I heard him arguing. The woman was arguing with him. He wanted her to leave, she didn't want to leave. And he was saying, I have to get you out of here, you're going to burn up. She's saying, no, no, I don't want to leave. And I called in, helpfully, I said, ma'am, I think you want to leave. It's just my opinion. You know, smoke, fire, hell burning and all that. And the fireman, through this haze of smoke, he said, can you take the front of the wheelchair? Okay, there's 6 steps, 6 stone steps. So I walked up the steps, and the smoke in my eyes and coughing, I reached in, and through the smoke appeared the front of a wheelchair and a woman's leg that was larger in diameter than my waist. And I thought, uh-oh. The Red Cross doesn't pay for injuries to the back or the spine or the shoulders. Now, fortunately, they say that disaster brings out the best in people. There were some gentlemen who looked like they were from a street gang who would have just as soon knifed me as said, good morning. But they came running up, and all of us, we sort of pulled this wheelchair out. There was a woman in the wheelchair who was substantial. A very, very substantial lady. And it took all of us to wrestle her down those steps to get her to the sidewalk. She was sobbing, she was hysterical, and she grabbed my vest, my reflective vest, and she said, I have to go back in there, Elvis is in there, Elvis is in there. I thought, oh, I got a good one now. I said, it's okay, ma'am. Elvis is fine. I saw him at Graceland. He's okay. And she said, Elvis is my cat. I said, oh, fuck. All right. So I said, I tried to change the subject. Is there someone who lives in this neighborhood that takes care of you? I can't leave you on the sidewalk. Is there some house I can take you to? Well, she told me at the end, thank you. She told me, oh, is that Guinness? That is Guinness, so you won't be needing this. Thank you so much. She told me there was a lady at the end of the street. So I ran down the street and I ran up those 6 stone steps and I knocked on the door. And the door opened and I was attacked by 2 horses. Really? No, I thought they were horses. They were actually Great Danes. And these were the sort of happy, slobbery Great Danes who have never seen a human being before. And they were so excited to see me. They're jumping up and they're slopping on my face with the tongues. And oh, they're just so happy. It's a person. We've never seen a person. And I'm trying to fend them off, and they're huge and heavy and, 100 kilograms each. I'm like, stop, let me go. Behind them came their owner. And I thought, oh, that's why they've never seen a human being before. This little lady was 1 million years old. I think she was actually an Egyptian mummy. She had the stuff on the eyes and down here and the big hair and everything. And I said, hello, 1 million year old lady. Your neighbor's house is on fire. Can I bring her here? And she said, oh, yes, please, bring her here right away. So I went to the substantial woman, and I wheeled her down the street to the 1 million year old lady's house, and the horses started to attack her too. Another person, slop, slop, oh, it's another person, slop, slop, slop. And I called these fellas back over, and it took 6 men to wrestle her up the stairs, and it took an extra 2 men to hold the dogs back because they just wanted to lick her face. That was their joy in life. Their sole existence was to lick that lady's face. If they couldn't get to her face, they'd take mine. So we got her inside, and she looked at me pleadingly, and she said, please get Elvis for me. Now, in the world of emergency services, the first rule is never promise anything. But she looked so sad, she looked so upset, she looked so lost. I created a mortal sin, and I said, I will get your cat. So in fact, by now, there was a large amount of smoke pouring out the door. And Mark, who was the gentleman who'd sniffed out the fire, my captain of my team, I walked up, he said, well, wait a minute. He said, the fire captain said I can't go in there. I said, the fire captain said, you can't go in there. And he said, you're not going in. I said, okay. Captain, can I go in? And Mark turned around. That's sneaky. Mark was yelling at me. I said, shut up. I had a flashlight. And in that smoke, it looked like a lightsaber. And I was looking around, and in the beam of the lights of the flashlight, I saw 2 little green dots. And I walked toward it, coughing and choking, and there was this little, adorable little black and white cat. He looked like he was wearing a tuxedo. He was black here, and had his white, he even had a little bow tie. It was perfect. He was a perfect tuxedo cat. And I'm like, oh, that's why she called you Elvis, it must be. Because you look like you're ready to, you're a little. So I gathered him in my arms, and oh, he loved me. Oh, yes, I love you. I love you. So I went out, and Mark said, give me the cat. I said, no, I got him. He said, no, give me the cat. There's a bunch of other things she wants. I said, did you ask for a shopping list from her or something? Okay, here's the cat. So I went and I'm going down the list. She wants this, she wants that. Oh my gosh, she wants everything she owns. Okay, I'm putting stuff under my arms, coughing. Came outside. The house that was the next one down was also abandoned. And I saw Mark on his hands and knees next to the window of the basement saying, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. I said, oh, you didn't. He said, he jumped down in my arms. I said, Mark, you had one job. I invented that. I said, all right, you take all the stuff. Take the television, the hockey sticks, the stamp collection, take that all down there. I'll get the cat. Now, the window led to the basement. The basement of an abandoned building in Philadelphia may contain anything. And whatever it contains is going to be horrible. It might contain raw sewage. It might contain a dead body. It might contain a live body. I didn't know. All I knew was I had to get that damn cat. So I slithered down I was a lot skinnier then. I slithered down through the window, took off my white helmet, put it outside, and I realized that of the horrible things I mentioned, all of those were down there. So I'm going through this. Hey, watch it, sorry. And I shined the flashlight beam, and there were those two little green lights. And I walked up, and Elvis was, I love you, I love you. And I said, that better not be a rented tuxedo you're wearing, you little bastard. And I was looking through the fur of his neck, past his little black bow tie and all the white fur. He had a collar on. The collar was white, and it was kind of lost in the white collar of his tuxedo. So I hooked my finger in it, and I handed him out the window to Mark, and I said, hold on to the collar this time. So he took the cat, and I started to hoist myself out through the window. And I climbed out, and I picked up the white helmet, and I heard a scream. The kind of scream that you would not think can come from a human voice. And I turned, and Mark was holding not Elvis, but a Tasmanian devil. Because from behind I saw these claws going, and blood was flying in all directions, and Mark's going, ow, oh, God, son of a bitch, ow, Jesus Christ, ow, ow. He ran down the street, climbed the stairs, kicked the door up, and said, here's your damn cat. I said, Mark, the dogs. But it was too late. Now, fortunately, those of you who share your home with a cat know that cats are not subject to the normal laws of gravity. Elvis did something of a